After 55, this is what happens to your brain. When you sit too long, you will never be the same person after learning these truths. Warning, if you've started reading this, you're probably sitting right now, and if you're over 55, a silent war has already begun inside your body because every passing minute, invisible destruction is happening in your brain. But don't be afraid, because by the end of this article, you'll learn exactly how to reverse this devastating process. I'm going to ask you a question now, and the answer to this question will shape the rest of your life. How many hours did you sit today? At breakfast, in front of the television, at the computer, in the car, during dinner, and now while reading this article, did you calculate it? The average adult sits 9-11 hours per day, and for individuals over 55, this number often reaches 12-14 hours, which is precisely the point where a disaster scenario begins writing itself in your brain. Imagine this. Your brain is the most complex structure known in the universe, with 86 billion neurons, trillions of synaptic connections, and millions of electrical signals per second. And this magnificent organ works for you every second, enabling you to think, remember, love, and create. But now close your eyes and see this. The connections between these 86 billion neurons are disconnecting one by one, like the foundations of an old building rotting away, like a forest drying up tree by tree, slow, silent, and painless. And the scariest part is that you feel nothing. No pain, no warning, no alarm. And then one day, you just wake up and can't remember where you put your keys. You mix up your grandchildren's names. You have to pause to think about what you ate yesterday, and then you ask yourself if this is normal, if this is what aging is. But no, this is not normal, because this is years of inactivity starting to bill your brain. In 2023, a comprehensive study conducted by UCLA involving 35,000 participants shook the medical world when brain scans of individuals over 55 who sat more than 10 hours a day were examined, and the results were terrifying. Hippocampus volume in individuals who sat 10+ hours daily was found to be 13% smaller compared to their active peers, which is equivalent to approximately 10 years of brain aging. Significant deterioration was detected in white matter fibers connecting brain hemispheres in sedentary individuals. Prolonged sitting reduces blood flow to the brain by 15 to 25%, and the risk of Alzheimer's and other types of dementia increases by 30% in the 55+ age group who sit more than 8 hours a day. The meta-analysis published by Harvard Medical School in early 2024 revealed that prolonged sitting is as dangerous as smoking. But while society is aware of smoking, when it comes to sitting, we're completely blind. And Dr. Sarah Mitchell, one of the leading names in neuroscience, explains that the human brain was designed for movement because our ancestors walked 10 to 12 miles a day, but now people spend 80% of their day sitting, which is a disaster for the brain. Now let me show you what's really happening inside your body every minute and every hour while you sit in your chair. From the moment you start sitting, the muscles in your legs go into sleep mode, and muscle activity drops by up to 90%, which isn't just a physical problem because alarm bells start ringing for the brain. Since when your muscles don't work, glucose absorption decreases, insulin resistance begins, and energy flow to the brain is disrupted. After 2 hours of uninterrupted sitting, blood flow to the brain decreases dramatically, and since the brain is your body's hungriest organ, consuming 20% of total blood flow, when blood flow decreases, oxygen levels drop, brain cells become stressed, and neurotrophic factor production stops. After 4 hours, chronic inflammation markers begin to rise in your body as C-reactive protein, interleukin-6, and tumor necrosis factor levels increase, and these inflammatory substances weaken the blood-brain barrier, disrupt communication between neurons, and activate microglial cells, which then start accidentally attacking healthy neurons, meaning your own brain starts eating itself. And after 8 hours or more of uninterrupted sitting, structural changes occur in the brain as the hippocampus begins to shrink, the prefrontal cortex thins, and neural connections weaken. And the most critical point is that after age 55, your brain's capacity to repair this damage decreases dramatically because while a young brain can renew itself overnight, a 55-plus brain takes weeks or even months to repair the same damage, and if you sit 8+ hours again the next day, the damage accumulates, compounds, and grows. Let me share real stories with you. Michael, 62 years old from Chicago, worked as an accountant for 35 years, sitting at a computer at least 10 hours a day. And when he retired, he thought he was rewarding himself by sitting more and resting more. But a year later, his wife noticed he was asking the same questions repeatedly. He had put his wallet in the refrigerator, and he forgot his grandson's birthday 3 times. And when he went to the doctor and saw the MRI results, his brain looked 15 years older than his peers, and the doctor said it was early-stage mild cognitive impairment, and he wishes he had known sooner. Susan, 58 years old from Denver, started working from home during the pandemic, and for 2 years barely moved at all with all the meetings, emails, and reports done while sitting, until one day she forgot what she was looking for in the kitchen and stood at the doorway thinking for 5 minutes with nothing coming to her, which became her wake-up call when the neurologist said that age-related atrophy in her brain was accelerating, with one of the main causes being sedentary lifestyle. Robert, 67 years old from Phoenix, watched his father die of Alzheimer's, not recognizing his own son, and thinking his wife was a stranger, and that fear was always with him. So when he retired, he promised himself he wouldn't be like that, but didn't know what to do, and spent hours in front of the television and at coffee shops without walking much, until he read an article about how sitting for long periods increases Alzheimer's risk. And that day, he changed everything. Now walking 10,000 steps a day and getting up every 30 minutes. And at his last checkup, his doctor said his brain functions are like someone in their 50s, proving that change is possible, but you have to take action. The reason 55 is a critical threshold is because neuroplasticity decreases as the brain's capacity to reshape itself drops significantly after age 55, meaning a young brain can create new connections to compensate for damaged areas. But the aging brain loses this flexibility, so damage from inactivity becomes more permanent, recovery time lengthens, and even small damages accumulate. Brain volume naturally shrinks starting at age 55 by an average of 0.5% per year, but inactivity can increase this rate to 1 to 2%, which is 2 to 4 times faster, particularly affecting the hippocampus for memory formation, the prefrontal cortex for decision-making and planning, and the temporal lobe for language and comprehension. The vascular system weakens after age 55 as blood vessels become less flexible, and sitting further worsens already difficult blood circulation, causing fine capillaries leading to the brain to clog with small silent strokes, occurring that mostly go unnoticed. Hormone. Balances change with age as BDNF production decreases, cortisol levels rise, and estrogen and testosterone drop, which are critical for brain health. And inactivity accelerates and intensifies all these changes. And mitochondrial function deteriorates as the power plants in your brain cells work less efficiently with age, and while movement keeps mitochondria active, sitting rusts them so brain cells can't produce enough energy and begin to die. Your brain is constantly sending signals that most people notice too late, and the warning signs you should pay attention to include memory symptoms like the keys wallet phone syndrome, where you frequently search for belongings, word hunting, where words are on the tip of your tongue but won't come out, repeat syndrome, where you tell the same story to the same person again, appointment forgetfulness, where you miss important dates, and the read-forget loop, where you read a paragraph and don't remember what you read at the end. Cognitive symptoms like decision fatigue, where even simple decisions feel exhausting. Calculation difficulty, where simple math feels harder. Disorientation, where you get lost even in familiar places. Multitasking collapse, where doing multiple things at once becomes difficult. And learning resistance, where learning new things is much harder than before. And emotional symptoms like unexplained irritability, where small things anger you more than before. Motivation loss, where interest in activities you used to love decreases, social withdrawal, where you avoid meeting people, increased anxiety, where worry intensifies, and sleep irregularity, where night awakenings increase and you don't feel rested. If you're experiencing 5 or more of these symptoms, this is not a coincidence because your brain is sending you a message and you need to take it seriously. Here's the good news. The brain is an incredibly resilient organ, and with the right interventions, a significant portion of the damage can be reversed through strategies backed by science, including the 30-30 rule, where every 30 minutes you stand up and move for 30 seconds, which is simple and effective because a 2022 study showed this intervention increases blood flow to the brain by 15%, improves attention and concentration by 25%, and supports long-term memory formation. So set a 30-minute alarm on your phone. Stand up when it goes off, stretch or walk, or do squats for 30 seconds. And these small breaks act as an oxygen shower for your brain. The daily walking ritual of at least 30 minutes of brisk walking per day, because walking is the most powerful medicine for the brain that no pill can match, since regular walking can increase hippocampus volume by 2%, reversing age-related shrinkage, increases BDNF production by up to 300%, triggers neurogenesis, and reduces stress hormones, and you should socialize while walking to add the brain protective effect of social connection. Creating standing hours by designating certain hours of the day as no sitting hours, like standing work hour between 10-11 a.m., movement hour between 3-4 p.m., and walking instead of sitting in front of the TV after 7 p.m., because research shows reducing sitting time by 3-4 hours per day reduces cognitive decline risk by 35% and improves memory test scores by 20%. Changing how you sit by at least sitting actively using a balance ball instead of an office chair to keep core muscles active, getting a height-adjustable standing desk, doing leg exercises like rotating ankles and lifting legs while sitting, and sitting on the edge of the chair to keep back muscles active. Doing brain exercises every day like solving puzzles or Sudoku, learning something new like a language or musical instrument or craft, reading preferably physical books, and playing strategy games, and every week. Trying a new route to keep brain navigation active, meeting new people, and doing creative activities like painting, writing, or music. Improving sleep quality, since inactivity impairs sleep and poor sleep accelerates brain damage. Following golden rules like not using screens 2 hours before bed. Moving during the day but not doing intense exercise after 7 p.m. Keeping the bedroom cool at 64-68 degrees, going to bed and waking up at the same time every day, and cutting caffeine after 2 p.m., and strengthening social connections because loneliness destroys the brain as much as sitting, so plan weekly family gatherings, regular meetings with friends, participation in community activities, and volunteer work, since social interaction is natural exercise for the brain that simultaneously activates attention, memory, empathy, and language centers. I need to tell you a truth. Some of you will read this and say that was interesting and think about it later, and unfortunately most of these people will do nothing. But I want you to understand that brain damage is cumulative, and every hour you spend inactive today adds to the damage you'll face tomorrow, like a bank account in reverse where you're getting poorer every day. And after age 55, this impoverishment accelerates. So if you're 55 today and don't take action, at 60 memory problems become apparent. At 65, daily activities become difficult. At 70, independence is threatened. And at 75, dementia risk reaches critical levels. But if you take action today, at 60, you maintain mental clarity. At 65, you're sharper than your peers. At 70, you stay active and independent. And at 75, you continue making memories with your grandchildren. The choice is yours. For your action plan over the next 7 days, Day 1 is Awareness Day, where you record how many hours you sat, note each sitting session duration, calculate the total, and write it down as your starting point. Day 2 is Alarm Setup Day, where you set phone alarms every 30 minutes and stand up for at least 30 seconds each time. Day 3 is Walking Start Day, where you begin with just a 10-minute walk around your house or park without trying to increase speed. Day 4 is Environment Arrangement Day, where you create standing points at home or office, make phone calls while standing, and move your armchair further from the television. Day 5 is Social Movement Day, where you invite a friend or family member for a walk, plan meetups in parks instead of cafes, and join group activities like walking groups, yoga, or dancing. Day 6 is Brain Activity Day, where you try a new puzzle, set aside 20 minutes for reading, and start learning something new. And Day 7 is Evaluation Day, where you assess what changed, how you feel, set goals for next week, and compare your sitting time with Day 1. Change is possible, and here's proof. Patricia, 63 from Seattle, read a similar article a year ago when she was sitting 12 hours a day with increasing forgetfulness and started with just the 30-30 rule, getting up every half hour, then a month later started walking first 10 minutes, then 20, and now 45 minutes every day. And at her neurologist checkup last week, her cognitive test scores were 40% better because movement is medicine. And William, 71 from Miami, thought it was too late to change at 70, but after his grandson showed him a video about this topic, he couldn't sleep, and the next day started regular exercise for the first time in 40 years, and after 6 months his memory has sharpened, his energy increased, his wife says he's gotten younger, and most importantly, he can keep up with his grandchildren now. I've told you a lot, including scientific data, frightening statistics, real stories, and practical solutions, but all this information only gains meaning if you take action, and right now you have 2 choices. Option A, where you close this article, say that was interesting, forget everything tomorrow, continue living the same way, and over the years, silently watch your brain say goodbye to you. Or Option B, where you stand up right now. Yes, right now. Continue reading while standing. Start the 30-30 rule tomorrow. Start walking next week, and every day be better than the day before. And I know your choice because if you've read this to the end, you're not ordinary. You're someone who takes their health seriously. Someone who wants to be there for their family. Someone who wants to spend the last years of life with a sharp mind. Your brain hasn't given up on you, but have you given up on it? Every inactive day tells it you're not important. Every active day tells it you will fight with it. And sitting after 55 is a choice whose consequences affect not only you, but everyone who loves you, including your children, grandchildren, spouse, and friends. For them, for yourself, for your future, get up, move, live, and remember to get up every 30 minutes. Walk at least 30 minutes a day. Strengthen your social connections. Challenge your brain, sleep well, and most importantly, start today. If this article changed your life, please share it with everyone you know in the 55-plus age group because maybe they need this too, but don't know it yet. Your brain is talking to you, and it's time to listen.